So the only way, liberals used to say this, they don't believe it apparently anymore, but the only way to stop bad ideas is by countering them with good ideas. You want to defeat lies, tell the truth. It's literally that simple. And as if I needed to be reminded of that, the last month, I don't think a single person has ever made the case that I'm wrong, that Nick Fuentes is wrong. The Jew hatred stuff is wrong, period. And I said that. The white hatred, black hatred, Jew hatred, Malaysian hatred, Bedouin hatred, it's all wrong. I believe that as much as I believe anything. Okay, but the rest of it, his analysis, which is actually smart and in a lot of cases true, no one's even attempted to rebut it. 95% or whatever the number is, if members of Congress take AIPAC money, how is that good? Shut up, Nazi! So if that's your only defense, you've lost.
She got cooked. Ladies and gentlemen, Abby Phillip woke behind CNN. Woke Abby Phillip got absolutely destroyed for hypocrisy, which, I mean, she's pretty much known for at this point. The most boring anchor and host on all of television was being extremely hypocritical. Stephen Miller's wife went in on her for hypocrisy regarding Nick Fuentes, who is a very controversial figure. Not a fan of his. I do think some of his commentary is kind of funny sometimes, but he's been banned from YouTube, so I can't even play clips from him without risking like the channel being like banned or something. So Tucker Carlson had Nick Fuentes on, and people were criticizing him for that, as you saw like at the beginning of this video, not because of, you know, some of the merits of his ideas, but just because of some of the things that he says. You know, he can straight up be pretty like racist and pretty sexist. So some of the things he said make sense, but some of the other things I was like, this dude need to chill out. So Trump has distanced himself from Nick Fuentes a long time ago for that reason, because obviously, presumably he didn't know about some of those things. That it's not like it was in the past. I mean, this is like present day Nick Fuentes. This is just who he is. So Tucker Carlson had him on, and the left is having meltdowns and freaking out because, oh my gosh, how can you host such a raging anti-Semite or raging racist, like all these other things. Meanwhile, they're steady calling Tucker the same thing. But it's like, what does that mean? Does that mean Nick Fuentes is like the next upper echelon white supremacist or something? Like, these people are kind of stupid. It's like either you kind of are or you just aren't. There's really no like, well, you're a little bit white supremacist, Tucker, but Nick Fuentes is really white supremacist. These people are stupid. And Stephen Miller's wife was not having it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and react to this clip of Abby Phillip getting cooked. By the way, guys, there's a new feature on YouTube where you can hype videos. So be sure to like the video, hype the video. It helps out a lot. Appreciate you.
But hold on, I really want to go back to this for 1 second. But this isn't about whether he can speak freely. It's about whether someone like Tucker Carlson, who is a very powerful force in the conservative movement.
You host people on your show all the time who call my husband and myself a Nazi. So how is that any different from Tucker Carlson going on Nick Fuentes having Tucker Carlson on his show? It's not different.
You know, I mean, like, Stephen Miller is a white supremacist. I mean, he is, and he's basically running the White House. They keep Trump busy with his decorating projects. He's got building the arch now. He's got his Oval Office design. And then you have these real sociopaths that are real anti-Semites, true white supremacists like Stephen Miller. And even though he's Jewish, he's like a Nazi Jew.
Well, look, I can't speak to what Stephen Miller's motivations are. He's actually
anti-Semitic. He's anti-Semite.
A Hitler admirer. Nick Fuentes is actually a Hitler admirer.
But he literally is not a good
That is a different thing.
Excuse me, you have Jennifer Welch on your show very often, and you've never pushed back as she has called my husband a white nationalist.
Hold on.
That is no different than Nick Fuentes going on Tucker Carlson's show. It's not, and you should admit it.
Well, hold on. Wait, hold on. How is it anything similar? It's not remotely similar at all. Nick Fuentes sits around and says that he likes Hitler. How is that similar
What does Katie have to do with it? What does she have to do with it? She has nothing to do with it. Literally nothing.
Scott, Katie is the person who just said to me that it is comparable to say that Nick Fuentes, who is literally a neo-Nazi, is the same as somebody, a liberal, who has an opinion, who is not a neo-Nazi. They are not
a hateful opinion.
The same.
How do you want? Excuse me. Let's go back to this point one more time.
But
Nick
Katie,
Fuentes can espouse an opinion on Tucker Carlson's show.
It is not the same.
And he didn't push back the same way you didn't push back when someone called someone in my family a Nazi.
Hold on a second.
It's not different.
Hold on a second.
It's not.
If someone comes on this show and says, I love Hitler and I admire what he did, they would never, first of all, I would never invite them on the show and they would never be invited back. So those two things are not the same thing.
But yet you've gone on Jennifer Wilson's podcast. It's the same thing.
They are not the same thing.
What I think is so, what I find
Listen,
so,
but Katie, but hold on, Katie.
No, we can
do you believe that Jennifer Welch has a right to say something negative about your husband?
The same way Nick Fuentes has the right to say what he wants to say.
So you think that it's okay? Hold on. Do you think it is okay?
The problem here is that the folks on the left like to pick and choose, when convenient, of course. They like to pick and choose who is okay to platform based off of things that they say. If they're saying bad things about Republicans, then it's okay. Case in point, you have this guy who just got elected out there as Attorney General. I forget his name, black fellow, the one who wanted to kill conservatives, stuff like that. I mean, the Democrats didn't even denounce this person, right? They just kind of were like, maybe since we got enough of the fake news on our side, we got enough of the anti-Trump hate on our side, we'll just ride out that momentum. And there was no problem that the Democrats had with that. As a matter of fact, they tried to stop talking about it. Only the conservatives kept bringing it up, but because the fake news media landscape is so wide and large of a net, inevitably this guy managed to get elected, and that lady Spamberger as well stood behind him the entire time. So it's not like the Democrats are like denounce people who say bad things and espouse horrendous ideas like killing and murdering your political opponent. No, they literally let it slide, and they'll still support the people actively for that.
Hey, for Jennifer Welch, is she allowed to say something negative about your husband?
Absolutely, and it's your job as a moderator then to push back.
So that's the first thing.
It's the same way you're asking Tucker Carlson to push back against Nick Fuentes.
But hold on, Nick Fuentes.
Is it not different?
Nick Fuentes is espousing, he's not describing someone else as a Nazi. He is saying, I admire Nazis. You don't think that's a different thing?
Do you believe my husband's a Nazi? You allow someone on your show to say it.
Do you think those things are different or not?
I believe it's the same equitable
hold on.
comparison
So listen,
for Nick Fuentes to go on Tucker Carlson's show as you to have people to have on your show.
You are making a comparison of two things that are not in any way the same. I acknowledge and listen, when
it's
people
happened more than once, Abby.
But hold on.
At one point, it's a common occurrence.
When people say their opinions, I don't endorse them, but I also am not responsible for their opinions.
So doesn't that apply to Tucker Carlson?
That is different from a person themselves describing themselves as a hate monger.
Is Tucker Carlson responsible for Nick Fuentes' opinions?
But hold on a second. I am also not a Republican Party official or a Democrat Party official.
Why the fuck you lying?
Cap. That's cap. Abby Phillip has never espoused not a single conservative talking point, not once ever.
It's a wink and a nod, and it's all meant to undermine the President of the United States. The military does not have a right to undermine the chief.
Hold on a second. In this country, you do get to undermine the President of the United States.
Not if you're in the military.
No.
He's the commander-in-chief.
If you are a member of Congress, you absolutely, in this country, have a free right to undermine the President of the United States. You know that, right?
The commander-in-chief.
Slap yourself.
But has actively supported and defended the Democrats. She's tried to act like Sleepy Joe wasn't sleepy until she had to report on how Joe Biden left debate prep to go take a nap.
So just how worried were Biden aides before the former president's disastrous debate last summer? According to Ron Klain, his chief of staff, his concerns could not be overstated. At his first meeting with Biden for debate prep, quote, Klain was startled. He'd never seen Biden so exhausted and so out of it. Biden was unaware of what was happening in his own campaign. Halfway through the session, the president excused himself and went off to sit by the pool. The part about the pool, he went off, this is in the middle of debate prep, went off to the pool and he took a nap.
But that was like one time because it was just unavoidable. And I think that was after the debate, after the cat was kind of out of the bag. Let's keep going.
For Nick Fuentes' opinions.
But hold on a second. I am also not a Republican Party official or a Democrat Party official.
Wow.
And so I'm asking you about you as a Republican and who you think is the leader of your party, right?
Right now it's President Donald Trump.
And I'm asking your opinion, okay? If you think that J.D. Vance is that person, do you think that he should be sitting at a table and nodding along with Nick Fuentes? Yes or no?
I don't believe J.D. Vance has ever sat and nodded along with Nick Fuentes.
Do you think that Tucker Carlson? Do you think it is okay for J.D. Vance to think it's okay for Tucker Carlson to sit and nod along with?
I think it's okay for Tucker Carlson to have Nick Fuentes on the show the same way you have people on your show who espouse similar views.
Hold on, that's all I asked you, and we can just leave it at that. Because at the end of the day, that is what the Republican Party has to decide. Do they care whether or not someone who has a loud voice in their party is bringing on somebody who is encouraging neo-Nazism?
Wait,
and if you think that is okay,
if you think that's okay, let's go back to the murder of Charlie Kirk. Let's go back to the murder of Charlie Kirk. Should we?
So we have to leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, to Miller's point, I mean, I'm gonna keep it a buck. You shouldn't have killed Charlie, because Nick Fuentes and the Shapiros of the world is who you got left. Not to really say the two of them are similar, but I mean, in my opinion, they are inferior to Kirk. And guess who they chose to take out? The superior individual, the person who was the good guy, who actually just espoused traditional values, right? He promoted family and even forgiving thine enemies, stuff like that. Things that I don't think people like Fuentes give a crap about whatsoever. But the moral authority police on the left here want to try to police who you can have on your shows. And when you even got Piers Morgan is about to have him on right now, this will be a true test.
Piers Morgan, how many shows is he going to do about me but not have me on the show?
Okay, fair enough. Maybe it is time we had a chat. So give me a call or a direct message if that's your thing, and we'll do the interview, Nick Fuentes.
To see if he posts this on YouTube, because YouTube, I think, doesn't want this individual on the platform like at all, point blank period. I mean, they may make an exception for Piers Morgan since his channel's so freaking large and he probably can, get some sort of special background approval, kind of sweep it under the rug sort of thing. But I mean, who knows if I could even react to his video once that interview finally gets posted. And I think it's crazy that you even had people, I don't know if they're still like on there, but you had people like Hassan Piker and Destiny. I mean, they would actively, be talking about killing conservatives.
I'm ready for the great cleansing, dude.
Cleansing?
The cleansing.
What cleansing?
When we genocide conservatives in this country.
Are you gonna be out in the streets with your Glock?
Maybe.
That's a guy, that's one of the people, like, legitimately, like, it's actually kind of scary, like, how close I was to getting people together to go down to his house and kill him and his family. Or it would have just been him and his father. Because I didn't know anything about it. Dude, that was some of the most fucked up shit in my entire life. I was so fucking close to doing it. But I was making so much money on Twitch, and I don't know if Nathan was involved in yet, but for whatever reason, I decided that the current life I had wasn't worth the risk of... Oh my god, I was so close to this fucking address. I had fucking streets mapped out and fucking you have no fucking idea. That's when I first started getting an interest in, like, owning a weapon. I got a permit to own a gun and everything. Holy
Oh, could you imagine watching Nunez's eyes pop out of his fucking head? Nothing would make me happier. Oh my god, I would fucking jerk off. So I would never need to browse porn again.
And I think I saw them removed from Twitch, but I don't know about YouTube. If you guys know about that, let me know. And the stupid thing here is it's not like Tucker is agreeing with things that Fuentes is saying. She's talking about nodding along with them. That's kind of the equivalent of putting words in somebody's mouth, kind of nodding along. I mean, if you just kind of sit there and you listen to what somebody's saying, like, I mean, you don't want to say, well, hey, you're wrong for saying what you're saying. You invited them on. You already knew what they were thinking before, so they're entitled to come on and say what they think. And I guess if you really just want to, let them have it, then you can, but obviously you don't have to do that. It's like how the Democrats don't like to, Abby Phillip, when she was on this crazy lady's podcast, she didn't say anything that, hey, you're wrong about calling Stephen Miller anti-Semite and saying he's a white supremacist or saying that he's some sort of Nazi. She just kind of ignored what they said and just kind of moved on. So what's the heck's the problem with Tucker doing the same thing? This is a classic liberal crying, if you ask me, guys, but these are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you guys watching. Black and Emily Rising Channel. I'm out.
You're not telling the truth, and you're not. You start saying things about me that are true, that I'm trying to hide, whatever those might be. I'll get in fetal position and hide in the corner. But you throw lies at me? I'm totally unintimidated.